Welcome to my next From Season 1 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you are caught up to the point where I am at rewatching or watching from, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. Now, I've already seen all the episodes thus far of From, and I like the show. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's good. I have a feeling the ending of the show, whenever that is, might be a bit of a letdown, like a bad M. Night Shyamalan ending, but who knows. It's made by some of the people that were behind Lost, and I can definitely see some Lost elements in it. But what I'm doing is I'm reviewing every single episode before Season 3 comes out, so I can cover Season 3 as it happens on the channel. So join me on the journey and let's discuss this pretty awesome show. So with all that said, this will be From Season 1, Episode 9. The title of this episode is called Into the Woods, and this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. Boyd and Sarah continue their journey through the woods. Sarah asks him how he knows where to go, and Boyd admits that he is simply following his best guess. They arrive at the Talisman Cave, and Boyd explains to Sarah that is where he found the talismans. Boyd explains that the cave is the furthest he has ever gone into the forest and does not want to go into uncharted territory with 2 hours before dark. Sarah asks for the cuffs to be removed, saying she has to go to the bathroom, but Boyd refuses and said that is why he cuffed her hands in front. Kenny explains to his mother, Mrs. Liu, how they are dividing work on the tower, the radio tower, and Ian Chen asks if Jade has found Victor, and Kenny answers no, adding that if Jade mentions the symbol one more time, he believes Jim might kill him. Ian Chen expresses happiness that Jade is finally working and says that she does not like him because he is selfish and lazy. Kenny knows that, and that is Ian Chen says about her favorite people, making her smile. And then Ian Chen tells her son to go to ring the bell and be a good sheriff. When Kenny leaves the diner, Christy arrives and returns his book, saying that she finished chapter 6. The two talk about the book, and Kenny asks if she thinks it will have a happy ending. Christy does not know, but looks forward to finding out. Many of the Colony House residents head to the sheriff's office, where they are temporarily staying as Donna welcomes them in. She notices Eric looks a little off and tells him to get some good sleep. Dale complains about living in a jail cell, and Donna reminds him that this is temporary. Dale expresses pessimism about the chances of the radio tower working, and Donna tells him to cut it out. Dale declares himself happy to play make-believe and enters. Before Donna shuts the door, she draws a 1 on the Nights Without Incident sign. Tabitha continues digging in the basement, and Jim calls her up for dinner. She climbs up the stairs. She has a vision that cuts between walking through the main street of town and ascending the stairs of a tower. She hears what sounds like a ship's horn. As she continues climbing the tower, she finds several objects on the ground, including Ethan's toys, and shouts that she told him to pick them up. She picks them up, but knocks over a glass bottle, which rolls down the stairs, and someone asks somebody to pick it up. Tabitha then hears the sound of a phone ringing and a baby crying, and tells Jim to get the kids because something is wrong. She grows more nervous, and she notices the wall above her is inscribed with various years. She looks up, she notices Jim dangling from the ceiling, and suddenly his mouth opens as if to scream, but the sound of a car horn emits, flashing her back to the RV crash, and Tabitha wakes up in her bed. So she was having a dream. A scream wakes up Donna, who comes rushing to the scene and finds that Eric had hung himself during the night. One of the Colony House people tearfully says that he had been saying he was fine and making jokes about the radio tower. Jim leads the work on the building of the radio tower. Kenny informs him that Jade is working on the power source. Jim says that they need more building material. When Donna arrives, they ask her how she's doing, and she answers that she had a rough morning. Kenny asks her if Eric is with her because he needs him for a supply run, and Donna answers that Eric isn't coming and walks inside. Ellis finds Fatima sitting on a couch inside. The two talk about Eric, and Ellis says, would not have predicted it. Fatima says that the idea that the radio tower might work is more frightening than the idea it won't. Ellis asks her to elaborate, and she asks how they return to normal life after everything they have seen and done. She further asks that they aren't the same people anymore and can never truly come home. Ellis recalls that when his father returned from Afghanistan, he said that coming home from war is like traveling from another planet, and you can't tell if everything is different than when you left, or if you are the one that has changed. Fatima asks what it will be like for them in the normal world because they've only known each other in the town, and Fatima leaves before Ellis can answer. Boyd and Sarah continue their journey, with Boyd marking trees so they can find their way back. Sarah asks Boyd how he knows the forest won't be like the Fallen Tree Road and just loop back to the town. Boyd admits that he has no idea, but they will find out. Boyd asks Sarah about the voices that told her to kill those people so they could get home, and asks if she thinks they are lying. They were lying, and Sarah says she doesn't want to talk about it, making Boyd angry, and says if they are second-guessing each other, it seems fair to ask what they told her that convinced her to try and kill Ethan. Sarah answers that they told her that 2 cars were coming, and if she did not follow their orders before trailing off, Boyd, now furious, shouts at her to answer the question, and Sarah shouts back that they told her Nathan and everyone else would die. Sarah tearfully asks him why he didn't put her in the box, and Boyd says he didn't know before releasing her from the handcuffs. Or he doesn't know. He just went with Father Khattri's, what he said. And then Boyd says he has seen the town people make good do bad things, make good people do bad things, and they continue on their way. Tabitha and her children sort through Victor's drawings. Tabitha does not understand them, and Julie says that Ethan thinks it's a puzzle, and Ethan corrects her and says that they're a story, and they can figure out what to do next once they understand the story. After finding a drawing of massacred townspeople, Tabitha says they should stop. Ethan says they have to figure out the story and keep looking. Julie asks her mother if she thinks the radio tower will work, and Tabitha answers that they have to wait and see. Ethan then asks where they think a drawing of a mauled torso. Tabitha offers us to play a different game with Ethan where they talk about what they look forward to when they get home, and Tabitha says that when she gets home, she's going to order everything on a menu from Giovelli's. Julie says that she will call her friends. Ethan says he wants to be happy the way they are in the town because they never play games at the table at home. Jim and Jade try to figure out how to power the radio. The problem is that there is no way to charge the batteries without quickly draining other resources. Jade asks Jim if anyone has seen Victor, causing him to roll his eyes. Jade tells him to just open the book and look at the symbol. Jim scolds Jade for focusing on this instead of the radio, and tells him to do what he wants while he figures out how to power the radio. Jade tells him that he isn't going to figure this out, and Jim retorts that maybe Jade isn't as smart as he thinks. Kenny tries to comfort Donna. Kenny mentions that he is going to get some wood from the barn to build the radio tower. This prompts Donna to fly into a rage, and she takes an axe to the floorboards. Kenny and Jim tell her to stop, and Kenny says they need Colony House standing. Donna replies that they don't need it anymore because the radio tower will get them home, adding that is no longer a home but a tomb. Donna then storms out into the porch and tries to regain her composure. Boyd and Sarah progress deeper into the forest. Sarah remarks that it was nice that Ellis saw them off before they left, and Sarah begins to talk about Abby. Sarah continues to say that Boyd reminds her of Nathan because he always puts others' needs before his own. Sarah adds that she does not think he would like what they are doing because if they tried to leave her pushed too hard, then something would push back. Then they hear clinking and following the noise to a bottle tree. Sarah is surprised to see it, remembering that Boyd said that no one had made it out that far into the forest. As Boyd tries to knock a bottle down, he can see what's inside, Sarah becomes pained and begins screaming before beginning to going into seizure. Tom asks a drinking Donna how progress on the radio tower is going. Tom remarks that this is the first time Donna has set foot in the bar, and Donna tells him that it's because he is bad at distilling, but she needs to be alone. Kenny then arrives and asks Tom to leave them alone. After he leaves, Kenny tries to comfort Donna over Eric's death, but Donna reveals that it is not the reason she is upset and asks Kenny to leave, telling him to go back to work on the tower. Kenny asks if she believes that it won't work, and she in turn asks him if he believes that it will. Kenny says he thinks it might and is therefore worth trying. Donna asks him what happens when they fail, and Kenny answers that they will try again, and Donna tells him that that won't work because he is getting people's hopes up. Kenny scoffs at Donna, but she tells him that he doesn't understand what it used to be like because he wasn't there. Donna tells him that she is grieving the loss of what they almost made the town, and that they almost made it work, and they are so busy trying to get out that they cannot see that the town will become when they fail. Kenny asks her if they are just supposed to simply stay in town where the creatures come out and hunt them every night, and Donna says she knows the people in the town look down on Colony House because it's just a giant party, but Donna explains that it was more than that. It was special by virtue of all the different people living together, and despite the fear and the monsters, there was joy in the house. Kenny apologizes, and Donna promises to pull herself together for the next day, but warns him that they have to be prepared for the fallout if the radio tower does not work. Ellis finds a frustrated Jim trying to figure out how to power the radio. Ellis informs him that they have enough wire for the cord now, but asks if they are making enough progress. Jim says that they have setbacks, but they will figure it out. Kenny walks through the town, ringing the bell. Christy is sitting on the stoop of the sheriff's office. She explains that Eric was her friend. He had celiac disease, so he was a frequent visitor at the clinic. Christy fondly remembers how she always told him to stop eating bread, but Eric would make jokes on how he made her adjust to the town easier when she first arrived. And then Christy makes Kenny promise that if the radio tower does not work and he falls apart, he will go to her and let her help, and Kenny promises to do so. Jade complains about having to try to figure out the power source and the pressure that is on him, and then Hin Chen loses patience and scolds him in English for complaining so often. So she's been able to understand everything thus far. She just chose to speak a different language. Tien Chen asks if he needs electricity and directs his attention to the lights. And Jade says the problem is they can't plug anything in, but realizes that they still harness electricity through the lights. Jim returns home, and Julie asks him how progress on the tower is going. He says, well, and then she responds that he is a bad liar but believes that it will work. Jim asks her why she is so optimistic, and she answers that it is something that Ethan said about how they were supposed to come here. She explains how at home they had stopped talking, but they are really together again, which further reminds her of what Fatima told her the first night. If you climb up high enough, even a nightmare can look like a dream. Julie then invites him to help dig in the basement, and he follows her down, not noticing that their lights are starting to flicker. Boyd has set up camp for a night, hanging at a talisman in their tent. Sarah wakes up, gasping for breath. She asks where they are, and Boyd assures her that they are safe. Boyd reveals that he was able to knock one of the bottles down, and the piece of the paper simply says 1864. And Sarah says they should go back, explaining that the voice she heard This time was a woman who said she was wrong and that there are worse things out there than the creatures, and kept repeating, "Tell Mr. Fish and Loaves that I was wrong." This frightens Boyd, and the two are further disturbed by the rustling noises outside their tent, and the tent begins violently shaking. The family continues to dig deeper while Ethan repeats his beliefs that they are on a quest. They stop when Tabitha says she thinks they hit the bottom. The tent continues shaking but eventually stops. Boyd searches for the talisman in a panic and rehangs it. Sarah says they should not have come here. Boyd tells her that they are okay, but she says she does not believe they are, and they hear a loud horn and flashes of light begin illuminating the outside of the tent, and that's what ends this episode of From. So pretty good stuff here, a little bit more slower than the last episode, of course. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, and the character of the episode, I'm going to give this one to Donna. One could make a case for Jim as well, but I think Donna was really good. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of From and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share this video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode and the show From. What would you rate this episode? Who would be your character of the episode, and anything else that you want to add to it? And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. If you're watching the video anyway, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDiv TV.